Okay, so you're thinking about hiring a Sentry developer.
Smart move.
Yeah, having someone who can handle application monitoring and, error tracking. It's like a superpower these days.
Oh, for sure.
But where do you even begin?
Right.
It can be a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I can.
So don't worry, we're diving into like the top questions that people have.
Love it.
And to make it even easier, theperfectdeveloper.com has put together this awesome resource. They call it the 5 questions. It's basically like a cheat sheet to find like the perfect developer for you. Go check it out, theperfectdeveloper.com. I promise it'll be worth it. So first things first, what exactly does a Sentry developer do all day?
They're the guardians of smooth running apps, making sure that your applications don't just work, but they work flawlessly. So we're talking integrating Sentry into the system, setting up all the alerts and dashboards to catch errors in real time, and then the big one, troubleshooting and fixing those bugs.
Okay, so they're finding and fixing errors, but how is that different from like a regular developer?
Good question. Think of it this way. General developers build the car. Sentry developers are the expert mechanics who are making sure that car runs smoothly. And they fix any issues before they become, major problems. They have this specialized knowledge of Sentry's tools, deep understanding of diagnostics, and that can save you a lot of headaches down the road.
So it's a specialized skill set then. Speaking of skills, what should I be looking for when I'm writing that job description?
Of course, you want strong programming skills, but you want someone who's fluent in like Sentry's API and SDKs. Bonus points if they're comfortable with DevOps tools like Docker and Kubernetes. But here's a big thing that a lot of people miss, and the perfectdeveloper.com points this out too. Don't overlook those soft skills. You need a Sentry developer who can communicate clearly because they're going to be explaining complex issues to different teams.
Communication is so important. Now let's talk about salary. What kind of range should I be thinking about for a Sentry developer?
Well, like most things, it depends on experience and location. Entry level, you might be looking at like the $60,000 to $80,000 range, but a senior Sentry developer, especially in a high demand area, could be making over $150,000. And the perfectdeveloper.com really emphasizes this. Location matters. You might actually save a lot of money by considering overseas talent.
That's a good tip. Now, should I be thinking full-time, part-time, or freelancer?
The perfectdeveloper.com's The 5 Questions can really help you figure this out. It all comes down to your needs. If you need consistent around-the-clock monitoring, full-time is probably your best bet. Short-term project, limited budget, maybe consider part-time or a freelancer.
Options are good. Okay, last big question. Where do I find these Sentry wizards?
Start with the usual suspects, LinkedIn, Indeed, those kinds of places. But you can get really targeted on sites like Upwork or TopTal. They specialize in freelance tech talent. And don't underestimate the power of developer communities like GitHub and Stack Overflow.
So many great places to start. We've covered a lot about like finding a Sentry developer. But how do I know if hiring one is the right investment for my business?
That's a great question. Let's unpack that in part 2. But while you're waiting, be sure to head over to theperfectdeveloper.com and try there the 5 questions. It's a fantastic tool to help you assess your specific needs and get clear on the type of developer that's right for you.
It sounds like it takes the guesswork out of it.
Exactly.
You'll also get personalized recommendations on where to find the best talent, whether that's on a freelance platform or a specialized job board. I'm definitely checking this out after we're done talking today.
It really comes down to their impact on your bottom line. Think about it. Every time your application crashes or has an error, it costs you money. Lost productivity, frustrated users. Even potential damage to your reputation. A Sentry developer, they're your front line of defense against all of that.
So they're not just saving us from like tech headaches, they're saving us like real dollars. Yeah.
Exactly, by being proactive, Identifying and fixing those bugs, they're preventing those costly downtime incidents from even happening in the first place. And theperfectdeveloper.com says that kind of prevention, it's worth its weight in gold, especially as your business grows.
That makes a lot of sense, but how do they actually do that? I mean, we talked about the technical skills, but what's their process like?
So it starts with a deep understanding of how Sentry works. They'll set up customized alerts, so they're notified immediately when something goes wrong. Then they use Sentry's dashboards and reporting tools to diagnose the problem, figure out where it's happening, how often it's happening, and what might be causing it. It's like having a detective on call 24/7, specifically for your applications.
You're like those code detectives we were talking about earlier, gathering all the clues to solve the mystery. But what happens next?
And they put on their developer hat and get to work fixing the bug. And the beauty of Sentry is it gives them all the context they need to solve that problem quickly and efficiently.
So it's about speed, AD accuracy.
Absolutely. Time is money in the software world.
Right.
The faster you can resolve those issues, the less disruption to your business. And that's where a skilled Sentry developer really shines.
Okay, I'm seeing the value here. But hiring anyone is an investment. How do I know if a Sentry developer is the right investment for my business?
You know, that's where the perfectdeveloper.com's The 5 Questions can really make a difference.
Remind me what those questions are about again.
It's the simple yet powerful framework they've developed to help businesses figure out exactly what they need when it comes to hiring. By answering those 5 questions, you'll get that clarity on what kind of developer you need, whether it's a full-time Sentry expert or maybe just someone for a short-term project.
It sounds like it takes the guesswork out of the process.
Exactly.
You'll also get, personalized recommendations on where to find the best talent, whether it's on a freelance platform or a specialized job board. I'm definitely checking this out after we're done talking today. So we've covered a lot about finding and hiring a Sentry developer, but what about working with them once they're on the team? What can our listeners expect?
So you found your Sentry superstar using those great resources from theperfectdeveloper.com. Now the real journey begins. It's time to onboard them and make them feel like a valued part of the team.
That makes sense. But onboarding can be a little kind of dull sometimes. Lots of paperwork and system setups. How do we make it engaging? Especially for a developer who's, eager to dive in.
You hit the nail on the head. For developers, it's all about getting their hands on the code. Theperfectdeveloper.com suggests having a development environment ready to go, like on day one. Give them access to the code base, all the essential documentation.
So bypass the typical HR orientation.
Yeah.
And go straight to the coding.
Not entirely. You still want to welcome them to the team, introduce them to everyone. But after that, let them jump right into a project, something small and manageable. It's a great way for them to learn the ropes, get familiar with your systems, and start contributing quickly.
I love that. A quick win right out of the gate. What other tips do you have for setting them up for success?
Mentorship. It's crucial. Pair them with a senior developer, someone who can answer questions, provide guidance, and help them navigate the company culture. Theperfectdeveloper.com really highlights this, fostering a collaborative environment where developers feel supported.
So it's not just about technical skills. It's about creating that positive and supportive atmosphere.
Exactly. Remember, you're not just hiring a developer. You're welcoming a new member to your team. Take the time to understand their strengths, their interests, their goals. Investing in their growth will make them much more likely to stay engaged and contribute to your long-term success.
That's great advice. We've talked a lot about the benefits for businesses, hiring a Sentry developer. But what about the developers themselves? What's in it for them?
It's a fantastic career path. Sentry is a leading tool in application monitoring, so having that expertise, it's a major advantage in today's tech world. According to theperfectdeveloper.com, companies are always looking for skilled Sentry developers. It's a highly sought-after specialization.
It sounds like they have a bright future ahead of them.
They do. The work itself is engaging, intellectually stimulating. They're solving complex problems, constantly learning, expanding their skill set. Plus, the demand for Sentry developers spans across all kinds of companies, all sizes, all industries, creating tons of job opportunities.
So it's a win-win for everyone.
Absolutely. Businesses get more stable applications, which leads to happy users and increased revenue. And developers, they get to work on challenging projects and build a really valuable career.
This has been a really insightful deep dive. We've explored, what a Sentry developer does, how to find them, how to set them up for success. It feels like we've only scratched the surface.
There's always more to learn, but hopefully this has given our listeners a good foundation and the confidence to start building their own Sentry dream team.
And don't forget our friends at theperfectdeveloper.com. They're there to help you every step of the way. Check out their website, especially the 5 Questions resource. It's a game changer for anyone looking to hire top developers.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, that wraps up our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you're looking to hire a Sentry developer, start with theperfectdeveloper.com and try the 5 questions. It'll make your search so much